Hey guys, I'm very excited today because today we are going to play with 3D design. I'm Michał from mdbootstrap.com and together with you we'll create this beautiful project. Have a look at this stunning goldish interactive landing page. The main actor here is of course the rotating globe, which additionally follows the mouse cursor. But the rest of the design is also nice. And what's most important, everything here is responsive. But before we start, a small request. If you like what we do and if you want more tutorials about 3D design, please give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment and subscribe to our channel. It will help us grow and create more valuable tutorials for you in the future. And now, without further ado, let's jump into the code. In this tutorial, I will use Material Design for Bootstrap, which is a free library that greatly extends the capabilities of regular Bootstrap and provides many useful features, like for example, better look, additional components, free templates, and even a free hosting for your projects. To download and install Material Design for Bootstrap, go to mdbootstrap.com and click big blue Get Started button. Then click big red Download button and unzip the package. Next, open it with your favorite code editor. I am using Visual Studio Code. Important note, to make this project works and to render 3D objects properly, you need Live Server. If you use Visual Studio Code, you can install a very useful extension called Live Server. Simply click View, Extension, and type Live Server in the search box. Then choose the first item and install it. I already have Live Server installed, so I will not do this again. Next, click on index.html, and if you right click here, you can see the option Open with Live Server. Click it. And now, if you change anything in your code, your browser will refresh automatically. Very useful stuff. So let's remove the existing content here and save the file. And now we are ready to start our work. I have prepared a boilerplate for you, which integrates Three.js library with the newest Bootstrap 5 powered by Material Design for Bootstrap. You will find a link to this boilerplate in the description of this video, so go there and simply copy the code. Next, paste it to index.html, replacing the existing code. And as you can see, it doesn't work because of one little detail. If you scroll a little bit up, here you will notice a link to the image. So the problem is Three.js cannot load this image because it's on different domain. As you can see here, it's on mdbootstrap.com and we are working on localhost. So what we need to do is to open this image and save it to the directory where we are working on. So let's click Save the image, and here is the MDB package I downloaded. So I will save the file to the image directory. Now let's name it logo. And now, as you can see, it's here. So I will replace this address to the relative path emg logo. And let's see if it works. And yes, it does. Alright, great. Now that our boilerplate is working properly, let's see what exactly we have in our code. So let's scroll to the top and let's have a look at this code. So apart from basic HTML here, we also have a font awesome, which is a collection of icons. We have a Google Fonts Roboto, and we have mdb CSS file. Below we have a bit of custom CSS, and we'll get back to this later, and some dummy content in our HTML. And here is the main actor of our project, Canvas, with a class WebGL, and as well we'll get back to this later. Down below we have mdb.js file, which is a JavaScript of material design for Bootstrap library necessary for making it works properly. And below we have a Three.js core file loaded with cdn. And finally we have a basic setup of our 3D project. Let's have a quick look at this. So most of this stuff is kind of set it and forget it, especially if you are a beginner. So we are not going into details here, but what you need to know is in every Three.js project we need a few obligatory elements. The first basic element is canvas, which really is like a canvas for our project. And as you can see, we create a variable here, and then we get this HTML element via WebGL class. So here is WebGL class. The next is scene, which you can imagine as a stage where our 3D show is going to take place. The next is much more interesting. Geometry is an actual shape of our 3D object. And it's a good moment to have a look at Three.js docs so I can explain it to you by example. So let's type Three.js in Google. Let's have a look at documentation. Now let's type geometry here. So as you can see, we are using a box geometry here. So let's use, let's say, circle geometry. So we can copy this circle geometry with two parameters, and let's paste it here. And let's decrease the size. And as you can see, we have a circle here. But let's use something more interesting than simple circle. So for example, let's use this cone geometry. Let's copy this and let's replace our geometry in our project. And as you can see here, we can manipulate the settings. So we can play with it as we want. And the first parameter is a radius, the second one is a height. So let's use this knowledge. And well, it's very big right now, so let's decrease the size to 1 and let's say 2. And wow, isn't that great? Alright, let's have a look at some other examples. Let's use something really crazy. Maybe I know this one. And yes, that looks enough crazy for me. So let's have a look how it works. Here we can change the sizes, the segments, and many other things. So let's copy these settings. Now let's paste it here. And again, it's very big, so we should decrease this. So we decrease the radius and the tube, let's say. All right. So maybe radius 1 and the tube 1 as well. And now it looks very fat. So what if we change this to 0.1? Better. And 0.5. Oh, too fat. Alright, now it looks interesting. So feel free to play with all these geometries, change the settings and choose the shape that you really like. And it's so much fun that I think you will enjoy it a lot. Alright, let's have a look at the next element in our code. It's material. So material is like a physical material. It's hard to find other words for this, so let's use an example to explain it. Let's get back to Three.js documentation, and let's type material. And here we can find the material that we are using, mesh standard material. It's here. And as you can see, we can change the properties of this material. So apart from the color, which is quite obvious, we can change the roughness of this, the metalness. So we can play with a lot of settings here, and isn't that amazing? Oh my god, I didn't even know that there is such an option. So as you can see, we can make the material, the skin of the object, the way we want it to look. But in our project, in this current project, we are using a logo as a skin, so we are loading a texture here, as you can see, and we are using our logo as a, let's name it skin of our object. So we are not going to play with material here in this project, but you can do it on your own in amazing Three.js documentation and play with all the options available here. The next is mesh. So basically it combines the geometry, our shape, with material. So it combines it together and then it adds it to our scene. The next is light, and we'll talk about this in details in the future because we are about to use this feature a lot. So now let's move further. So here we can find some utilities. So basically we are taking a width and height of the screen, and then we use this data, for example, to make all of this responsive. So our 3D object knows what the size of the screen is, so it can change its size as well. Next things are camera and renderer. So this is one of these things, set it and forget it, and especially if you're a beginner, you don't want to mess with this. So what I recommend basically is to just leave it like this. And the last thing is our animation. It's a vanilla JavaScript. So basically what we are doing here, we take our shape and we change its position on the Y and X axis and repeat it very fast so it can rotate. So we can increase the speed here, and as you can see, now it moves much faster, and we can also decrease it whatever we want. Alright, so now that we know the basics, we can start working on our project. So let's remove all this existing content in our HTML here. And let's start from the scratch. I will start from creating a basic structure for our project. So let's create a header. Let's create main. And let's create footer. And now we need a navbar. So let's go to mdbootstrap.com and in the search box, let's type navbar. And we'll copy this basic example. Copy. And let's paste it inside of the header. And here is our navbar, great. Now let's change the color of the background, because as you remember, we want to get rid of this dark palette and we go with a goldish colors. So here let's add body and background. And I am using HSL color code. And let's also add overflow X hidden. So anything that will stretch on x-axis over our canvas will be hidden, so it will be responsive as well. And here with our WebGL class, we need to do a few more things. Let's add mix, blend, mode, exclusion. All right. Let's decrease the Z index, so we make sure that our 3D object, our Three.js project will not overlap with other elements of our UI, like navbar or anything else. Now let's have a look at our main section. Let's create a container inside. So it's a Bootstrap class necessary for when creating a grid container. And inside of this container, I'm going to create a section. And below the section, we'll place our canvas WebGL. Well, actually, we'll place it inside of the section. All right. Now let's take care of our geometry. So instead of this torus node geometry, I'm going to use sphere buffer geometry with the following settings: 0.5, 65, 65. And now we need to replace the texture. So instead of this MDB logo, we need to find some maps so we can imitate the globe. So I found this map. It's nothing special, just a simple PNG map with PNG image with a map on this. So you can find a link to this particular map in the description of the video, or you can find your own map, the one that you like. So let's save it to the image folder, the same directory that we save our MDB logo. And now let's replace MDB logo with our map PNG. Let's save it, and here it is. The next thing we need to do is to change the color of the light from this dark to the goldish one. So I've prepared the color before, and now we can see this nice goldish color. And the one more thing I want to do about this globe is to increase the size of it, and actually I will change the position of the camera on Z-axis. So here in the camera settings we can change this number 5 to 2, and this way we can zoom it. And one more thing, if we change this property, this map, to normal map, our globe and its color will be less faded. Now let's make our globe to follow the mouse cursor. So here in the animate section, let's add event listener. Mouse move on document, mouse move. And now let's add a few variables. Mouse X equals 0, mouse mouse Y equals 0. Let target X equal 0, and let target y equals 0. Then const window x window inner width divided by 2, and the same for y and inner high. And now let's write a function on document mouse move event mouse x event client x minus window x mouse y event client y minus window y. And now we need to update our shape, our geometry. And now inside of the tick function, let's add target x equals mouse x multiply by 0, 0, 1 and target y multiplied by the same value. Let me fix typos here. So here I miss a dot and here I should add t. Alright, so one more thing here, and update objects. Let's add shape rotation y equals to 0.5 multiplied by elapsed time, and here in shape rotation y let's also increase the number, and let's add target x minus shape rotation y. Let's copy this here and target y shape rotation x. And now, as you can see, our globe is following the cursor. Nice. And if I want to change the direction of the rotation, which I do, let's add a plus here, here in front of equal sign. Perfect. Alright, that's it about the globe. So now let's take care of the rest of the UI. Let's scroll to the top and let's add a few more lines of CSS. I'm going to add some styles to create our goldish theming, so text theme, and I have prepared beautiful goldish color, so you can simply copy this with me in HSL format. I strongly recommend you to abandon hex and RGBA colors. on favor of HSL because it's much more convenient when you want to adjust the lightness, the intensity of the color. If you once tried HSL color, you will not use any more other formats. All right, so let's add also BG theme light, and we'll use this class to add very light goldish color, background color to elements like navbar. And we also need BG theme dark, and this will be strong golden color. And here unfortunately we need important tag because we need to override some MDB styles. So as you know, you should use important tag very rarely, but in this case we have no other choice. All right, now let's use these classes. So here in the header in our navbar, let's add a class. Well, instead of this BG light, we'll add BG theme light. So thanks to this, our navbar will have this nice, very light goldish color. And maybe let's decrease the intensity of the shadow. Shadow 1. All right, now it's a bit more subtle. And actually I want this navbar to be fixed to the top. So when we scroll down, we'll see that the navbar is always visible. Right now we have nothing to scroll, but when we add other content, you will see this effect in action. And now instead of this MDB logo, I want to use something different. So let's get back to MD Bootstrap docs, and in the search box, let's type icons. And here, let's type globe. So I think this is very nice icon, and we can use it as a new logo for our project. And it suits very well because it's some kind of landing page for a global company. So let's copy this and let's get back to our navbar. And where is navbar brand? Over here. All right. So let's replace this navbar brand with our icon that we just copied. All right, and let's add it a class that we've created a few minutes before, text theme. So it will have this strong goldish color, very nice. And also let's remove this notification from the bell because it annoys me. Over here. All right, header is done, so let's move to the main section. And here, let's wrap our WebGL class inside of few more classes. So let's add one more div here. Well, actually not. Let's leave our WebGL, our canvas class here at the bottom of our section, but nevertheless, let's add another div here. All right, and let's add a few classes. We want this intro section to be stretched a full height of the window, so we'll use the Bootstrap class VH100, which set the height of the given element to viewport high equals 100. All right, and now let's inside of this, let's add h1 and let's type some nice text, act local, think global. And right now our text is overlapped with the navbar. So if we remove the navbar, you can see it here. All right. So what we need to do is to center the text exactly in the middle of the screen. And how we can do this? Well, we'll use a flexbox. So by using Bootstrap flexbox classes like dflex to enable flexbox, and then align items center to align it vertically, and justify content center to align it horizontally. So now it wouldn't work without this class, because we need to first set a height to the given element, so it can actually center it in the middle of this value. All right, and one more thing, let's wrap this h1 heading with text center class, and let's make it bigger with a display one class. All right, nice, and let's transform it to uppercase. Nice. And let's make it bolder with fw bold class, and let's add text theme class to add this nice goldish color. And at the end, let's add margin bottom 4, because below we'll add a button. All right, let's get back to MDB docs for a second. Let's type buttons. Let's copy the code of this basic button and paste it below our heading, but inside of text center class. All right, so instead of button primary class, we want to use button dark. And now let's add a button theme, bg theme dark class, so the button has the same color as the rest of our theme. And let's make it bigger with button all G class, and let's increase the padding on x-axis to 5 and to 3 on y-axis. And actually, instead of button tag, we want to use it as a link. So let's replace the button tag with a, and this type attribute we need to change to role. And now we can add a link to it. So we'll link to the section below, section content and we'll use this ID later. Oops, sorry. And when we click at the button, you will see this nice ripple effect, which is typical for material design for Bootstrap library. Right now, I noticed there is one more thing to improve our navbar. As you can see right now, the links have the dark color. So let's make it goldish, so it can be the same as the rest of our theme. So in our CSS, let's add a class navbar light. So this is the class that the Bootstrap navbar is using, navbar light, and let's set a color to the same color as the rest of our text. And we also need to set this for the navbar links. So let's copy this and let's add nav item and nav link. And thanks to this, we can style the links. And as you can see, they are also goldish right now. Alright, our intro section with the 3D object is ready and it's responsive, so everything works perfect. So right now what's left is to add the rest of the content of our page, and this tutorial is getting a bit too long, so to accelerate my work I will use material design for Bootstrap resources, and what I'm going to use exactly is landing page design block. So if you are on mdbootstrap.com docs, you can type landing page blocks in the search box and it will take you to this page. So here are like hundreds or even thousands of predefined design blocks that you can use to accelerate your work and to make it done faster. One important note, everything we've done so far with this project was with the free version of mdbootstrap.com, so you can use everything that we've done here in this tutorial for free, but these design blocks are pro features, so if you want to use them, you need to purchase MDB Pro, and in the description of this video you will find a huge discount code, time limited, so go there, copy the code and use it on the checkout and you will receive a very nice discount, and then you can get a pro version of MD Bootstrap with hundreds of additional components, amazing features and thousands of design blocks and templates. So now I will simply copy design blocks from mdbootstrap.com and I will paste it to my project. So it's above the scope of this 3D tutorial, so you can do it on your own or see our other tutorials how to do things like this, or you can just purchase MDB Pro and use it the same way as I did. And there is one more thing I want to add in my CSS. It's a custom goldish gradient. So let's add a gradient theme and I will add background. And now let's simply copy the code that I've prepared before, and here is it. And our project is ready, and if you like it, give a thumbs up to this video. By the way, did you know that thanks to MD Bootstrap you can use free hosting for your projects? We call it MDBGo and it's really great. Visit mdbgo.com for more information. In the description of this video, you'll also find a link to the detailed tutorial on how to use MDBGo hosting and how to install MDB CLI, which is a fantastic and free supporting tool that provides many useful functionalities. Now, let me just show you how easy it is to publish our newly created project on the internet thanks to MDBGo. I already have MDB CLI installed on my computer, so now all I need to do is to run my terminal, and then I need to enter the path of the project I want to upload. So here is the directory where we have downloaded the MDB package and where we have been working during this tutorial. So let me just copy this path and let's enter this. And now I need to type only a single command mdb publish, and I will choose npm package manager, and then all I need to do is to choose a name for my project. I will name it 3D tutorial. Now let's accept all other options, and after a few seconds my project is available at this link. Let's see if it works. And yes, it does. Super fast and extremely useful. If you like it, don't forget to give a thumbs up to this video. And that's it about this video. Let me know in the comments what do you think about this project and if you want more tutorials about 3D design. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.